Game over. That's not my opinion. That is the reality that Jasmine Crockett is now staring down tonight, okay? Because while she's busy screaming into cameras and selling t-shirts, Texas just pulled the political rug out from under her. And there's no soft landing this time, guys. And right in the middle of it all, JD Vance, the man, Donald J. Trump himself, is elevating as America's next America First fighter is rising higher than ever. You see, guys, Crockett's been selling this girl from the hood story for years. But the truth, she grew up in a stable two-parent household. She went to pricey private schools and racked up expensive law degrees. That's not grit. That's privilege dressed up as struggle. And now Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, they have the map, literally, to erase her from Washington before the 2028 race even begins. So stick with me, because in just a second, I'm going to show you guys how Texas's power move could lock Republicans into Congress for years, and why Jasmine Crockett's own party might be secretly cheering to have her gone. You're not going to believe this, guys. Oh, and if you think that this is just about one loudmouth congresswoman who's just this ghetto girl from the hood from Dallas, think again, guys. What is happening here is a part of a much bigger strategy that has Trump's fingerprints all over it, and a strategy that's also making JD Vance almost untouchable heading into 2028. Drop a Vance in the comments down below if this sounds like good news for you that JD Vance is running in 2028. But buckle up, guys, because we're about to dig into Crockett's meltdown, the map that could end her career as we know it, and of course, the rise of the man who may carry the America First torch for the next decade. If you appreciate the news updates, click the like button and subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate you guys. Let's jump in. So let's start by grounding ourselves in exactly where we're at, okay? August 2025, Donald J. Trump is the president of the United States, delivering the America First promises that millions of Americans voted for. Now, the border is no longer this revolving door that we once saw. Manufacturing is roaring back, and working families, we're actually finally seeing relief in our paychecks, right? Meanwhile, Joe Biden, he's gone. The Democratic Party has left behind in pieces. No leader, no plan, and their approval ratings, oh man, they're in the toilet. They're in the tank. CNN, the Wall Street Journal, Gallup, they all agree. The numbers are in free fall. Guys, we're talking basement level support, and it's not just from the Republicans. Even their own base is tired. They're divided, and they're looking for something, anything to believe in at this point. But here's the part that really has the left's media machine in full panic mode, okay? So while they're floundering, one man is surging in the polls, and he's not just another face in the crowd. He is the heir apparent to the America First movement, guys. The man is JD Vance, Vice President JD Vance, that is. So Donald Trump made it very clear, crystal clear, in fact. This is his pick for the Republican frontrunner in 2028. Wow, right? And the polling, it's brutal for anyone thinking that they can just stand in his way. 40% support in early GOP matchups, guys. 40%. Drop a quick JD in the comments if you support JD right now. Ron DeSantis of Florida, he buried in single digits. You got Donald Trump Jr. trailing far behind. So what makes this rise different is JD Vance's style, okay? He's not just a firebrand. He's composed, strategic, and laser focused in the America First agenda. Mass deportations to protect American jobs and communities, a tough, unapologetic stance on NATO and Ukraine. Allies pay their share, or they don't get the benefit of our military shield. Simple as that. I think it's pretty simple, right? So, oh, and tariffs. The tariffs that are already forcing companies to bring manufacturing back home, guys, the tariffs are creating jobs for the very people that the DC swamp forgot all about. So while JD Vance is building momentum for the future, the present battleground is right here in Texas. Shout out, comment down below where you're watching the show from today, guys. If you're watching from Texas, let me know what city in Texas you're watching the show from, where Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, they have a plan that could not only change the state's political map, but it could theoretically erase Jasmine Crockett from Congress altogether. If you'd like to see Jasmine Crockett be erased and no longer even have to see her face again, just type in erase, guys. So when you see why, you might be shocked that her own party hasn't even done it, hasn't already done it yet, guys. Now, Medicare doesn't always announce the small changes that cost you big. I know it sounds underhanded. It's not okay. And I get it. Chapter watches for all of these changes like a hawk. It's amazing how close they follow the little changes that Medicare makes. Every little move, they're on it, right? And so why do they do that? This is because this is how the very founders of Chapter stopped what happened to their own parents from happening to others. Francis Latiro saved $65 a month, and Jamie from Texas saved $600 a year by doing something very simple, something you could do right now, something you should do right now, just by catching these little hidden cost changes. Now, I partner with Chapter because they spot what others are missing, and they do it completely free, no cost to you. Phone number is down below. Pick up the phone and call right now before it's too late. They're giving my community a free opportunity to save money. I love it. Phone number's down below, 909-563-8279. Or visit them on the web at askchapter.org/Ron before another hidden change chips away at your budget, guys. Right now, Texas is at the epicenter of the political earthquake that could very well shake Washington to its core. Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton, they're not just playing defense. These guys are playing on the offense as well, okay? So they have unveiled this new congressional map, and it's not just lines on paper. This is a political weapon, guys. The goal, lock in Republican control, reverse years of Democrat-led gerrymandering in the blue states, and even make sure that the GOP majority in Congress isn't hanging by a thread in 2026. And here's where the game over part really starts to get real. Jasmine Crockett, her district, it's kind of right in the middle of the crosshairs. Now, this is not an accident. This is Texas saying, look, we saw what California did. We saw what Illinois did. And now it's our turn. So in just a second, I'm going to tell you why this particular move here isn't just about beating Democrats. It is about completely dismantling a persona that has been sold to voters like a bad infomercial at like 2 a.m. in the morning. So Jasmine Crockett loves to tell America that she's the girl from the hood. Anybody think that Jasmine Crockett's really the girl from the hood? Or is she just ghetto? Or is she fake ghetto? Is she even real ghetto? Anyway, so the fighter from the rough streets who clawed her way to Congress, as she proclaims. But here's the truth that the media won't play on repeat. She grew up in Missouri in a stable 2-parent household. Her father, he's a teacher and a preacher. Her mom, a postal service worker with full federal benefits. Not exactly the story of a government neglect and hardship exactly, is it? She attended private schools. Heck, I don't know about you, but I went to public schools. I wish I could have gone to private school. Anybody go to public school like I did? Anyway, this is the kind of private school that she went to, the kind that costs like tens of thousands of dollars a year. My family didn't have no money for that, so we were going to public school where it was free. Anyway, she went on to earn an expensive law degree. She was surrounded by stability, opportunity, and resources that most Americans could only dream of. So now I'm not knocking success. I'm really not. I mean, I'm all for supporting. If you got the cash to get higher levels of education, go for it. But to act like you were struggling and you had to grind your way to the top when you really didn't, that's kind of BS, isn't it, guys? Now, again, I'm not knocking success, but there's a difference between living it and faking a struggle, just trying to score some political points among people who you think are going to resonate with that, if that makes sense, guys. So, and voters have every right to ask, is this even an authentic fighter or just some manipulative opportunist selling them a Hollywood script? And so if you think that the fake backstory is bad here, wait until you hear what she's actually been doing in Congress. You know, from viral insults, she turned into a cash grab, guys, to staffers who say that working for her was a total nightmare. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. So Crockett's time in Congress hasn't been defined by serious legislative wins. It's actually been defined more like defined by spectacles and what kind of viral moments she can get going on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and YouTube. That's really when she kind of hurled the phrase bleach blonde, bad butch body at the Republican colleague during a heated committee hearing. I think that was Marjorie Taylor Greene, if I'm not mistaken, right? She was calling her some bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, what she didn't say was even louder than what she did say, okay? What she did after that is effectively trademarked it. She slapped that phrase on t-shirts. She sold it as merch to her followers. And while in the same breath, criticizing President Trump for selling Bibles, sneakers, and hats. So who is worse here? Trump selling Bibles, sneakers, and hats, or Jasmine Crockett slapping that phrase on t-shirts after essentially trying to degrade Marjorie Taylor Greene? Y'all let me know who you think was worse on that. And then, to make it even more absurd, she strutted onto The View defending it, framing herself as like some kind of a political victim, as if her insults and her antics were noble acts of resistance. Guys, this is what she spends her time on in Congress. She ain't drafting no policy. She's not helping constituent. She is branding her next clapback. I mean, literally. So, but the spectacle doesn't even end in front of the cameras, because behind the scenes, it gets even uglier. So 3 of her own staffers, not political enemies, not her own team. Guys, literally her own team went on to the New York Post and called her the boss from hell. They say she skips work, that she has her staff chauffeur her around in a luxury SUV for trips just a couple blocks away from the Capitol, that she sends her aides to do laundry. Does she think like she's the Queen of England? Like, who does this lady think she is? Like, everyone is like beneath her red bottom shoes? I don't even understand. So she treats people like personal servants and slaves and indentured, even the black women that she claims to fight for in her speeches, okay? They're saying that she is obsessed with looking like a social media star, not acting like a legislator. One aide called her the princess passenger because basically she sits in the back of the SUV, and when they arrive, her staff has to go and open the door to the SUV for her, like she's arriving at like some red carpet event. Come on, guys. How is this a congresswoman, right? This isn't leadership. This isn't service. And it sure isn't the grit that she pretends to have in her carefully curated backstory. And so now the very people that she mocked and made fun of and clowned, the very governor that she insulted with the nickname Hot Wheels, they're about to return the favor in a way that could essentially end her political career for good, permanently. Now, I'm going to tell you guys exactly how Governor Greg Abbott of Texas and Ken Paxton are moving in for the kill. So Jasmine Crockett, she thought she could just be calling Governor Greg Abbott Hot Wheels, and she thought that was a savage burn that she could just toss out in front of a camera. But now that insult is now coming to boomerang back at her, and it's coming with some political consequences that she never saw coming. Governor Greg Abbott and Attorney General Ken Paxton have rolled out a redistricting plan that slices deep into Democrat territory. And yes, Crockett's seat is one of the prime targets. Abbott's framing it as restoring fair representation after decades of Democrat gerrymandering in blue states like California, New York, and Illinois. Now, Paxton, he's even taken it a step further, pushing for legal authority to remove legislators who skip work or intentionally obstruct the business of the people. And if you think that's aimed squarely at Democrats who fled the state during legislative sessions, you would in fact be right. So this isn't petty revenge here, guys. This is political payback wrapped in the constitutional law. And Texas Republicans are making it very clear. They're done playing defense. And when you strip away the talking points, Crockett's real vulnerability is staring right at her face. So here's the truth, guys. Crockett has virtually no legislative accomplishments for the people of Dallas. For the people of Dallas, Texas, she hasn't done anything for them. She is known more for Instagram reels and TV appearances than any real work or any real policy work in Dallas, Texas, guys. Even her own party. Whispers are growing louder and louder by the day. Some Democrats are quietly relieved that she might be gone. Why? Because she's become a distraction, a performance politician who brings viral clips, not votes. And when you've lost the quiet support of your own side, when your base starts to wonder if you're worth the drama, oh, it's over. You're freaking done. You're cooked. So you're not just a rising star anymore. You're a dead political weight at this point. And so as Crockett stumbles, JD Vance is doing the exact opposite, rising with discipline, a clear agenda, and the full backing of President Trump. Now, this is where the contrast really couldn't get any sharper. So while Jasmine Crockett's out here screaming into microphones and selling insult merch, JD Vance, he's playing an entirely different game, and he's winning at it. So President Trump has already made it clear Vance is the front runner for 2028, and with Trump's endorsement comes something Democrats can't stand: legitimacy with the Republican base and crossover appeal for independents and working class Democrats. Now, Vance isn't just giving speeches. He's laying out policy. He's continuing Trump's mass deportation push. He's demanding that NATO allies pay their share and locking in tariffs that have already brought manufacturing jobs and investment back to the U.S. Now, here's where it all connects. So while Texas Republicans clean house and remove distractions like Crockett, it creates the perfect political backdrop for Vance to stand in the face of the next American first generation here, guys. I'm talking calm, strategic, results driven here. Picture it. JD Vance sitting across from reporters, measured, articulate, talking about securing the border, protecting American jobs, and putting families first. Now, picture Crockett, red-faced on the House floor, hurling personal insults, defending why she's selling t-shirts with her own catchphrases on them. One is building a platform to lead the country. The other one is building a brand to stay relevant on social media. And the American people see the difference. So when voters are deciding who should shape the nation's future, that side-by-side image is devastating for Democrats. And it's lethal for Crockett's political career. And so here's the bigger picture here, guys. What Texas is doing to Crockett isn't just about one seat. It's about a national Republican strategy that could lock in power for a decade, maybe longer. So let's talk about how this works, okay? What Texas is doing right now, it's not an isolated hit job. It's a blueprint. Governor Greg Abbott and Ken Paxton, they're proving that you don't wait till 2030 to redraw the political map. You do it now while you have the power. And you make those lines so strong that Democrats cannot undo them for a decade. Now, if Republican-led states follow this example, Florida, Ohio, Georgia, Arizona, you're looking at a very real possibility of a congressional supermajority by the time JD Vance runs in 2028. Now, that means no razor-thin margins, no playing defense, no relying on swing districts to pass America First policies. Meanwhile, Democrats are in full meltdown. CNN, the Wall Street Journal, Gallup, the polling all says the same thing. Approval ratings are in the basement. They have no clear leader, no unifying vision, just factions clawing at each other, while public figures like Jasmine Crockett become the face of what's wrong with the party. Loud, unfocused, and more interested in personal brand than public service. Now, here's the painful truth for them. The louder Crockett screams, the more voters start looking for the exact opposite, which is exactly why JD Vance's disciplined America First approach is catching fire. And so when you strip away the noise, it all comes down to one final brutal contrast. And you're going to have to decide which side you're on. So on the one side, you got JD Vance, polished, disciplined America First leader with Donald Trump's full confidence. A man talking about policy, results, and securing America's future. But on the other side, you've got Jasmine Crockett screaming on the House floor, pushing a fake girl from the hood ghetto story, selling merch off insults, and, about to lose her seat entirely because Texas finally decided enough was enough. This isn't politics. This is a fork in the road for America. So do you want a future built by leaders who are strategic, serious, and committed to putting the country first, or by performers who are chasing their next viral clip? So y'all let me know what you want. Texas has already made its choice. The question is, will the rest of America follow? Now, if you're tired of the noise and ready to see leaders like JD Vance carry on President Trump's America First vision, then it's time to make your voice heard, guys. And listen, YouTube thinks you're going to love the next video that just popped up on your screen. Click it now because it's going to talk about what just happened, and we're going to blow it wide open in that video. So click that video and I'll see you on the other side.